For years, the feverish speculation and bizarre conspiracy theories had simmered in the darker corridors of the internet. Despite Meghan Markle's repeated insistences that she had given birth to both Archie and Lily, a vocal contingent of skeptics simply refused to accept the Duchess of Sussex had actually been pregnant. Their purported evidence ranged from the eyebrow-raising, her barely visible bumps failing to align with standard fetal growth, to the utterly absurd claims she employed a ghoulish trick of strapping a large dildo under her dresses to impersonate gestation. No matter how intensely the truth was rejected and mocked by the mainstream, this percolating disbelief became an identitarian calling card for Meghan's most ardent detractors. That all changed in the late spring of 2024 when a stunning media investigation bore unholy fruit, appearing to conclusively prove once and for all that the former actress had indeed perpetrated an elaborate hoax by faking her highly publicized pregnancies. Meghan's reputation had already been severely tarnished even before this bombshell unraveling threatened to obliterate whatever minuscule shreds of public goodwill still eluded the Duchess. The fallout from being captured violently slapping a 9-year-old Princess Charlotte across the face during the Queen's 2022 Platinum Jubilee celebrations played on an endless loop. Subsequent disastrous attempts to rehabilitate her image only dug the reputational grave deeper, with sordid allegations surfacing of deplorable backstage antics. Still, even in the depths of her most loathed pariah era, faking her very pregnancies would prove a reality-appending revelation of generational magnitudes towards shattering the facade Meghan had so painstakingly constructed. The trajectory of her unraveling arrived via a most unlikely source. Known in internet circles only as @de Grenade, the anonymous social media agitator had built a devoted worldwide following through their uncannily accurate celebrity scoops and caustic hatred for the Sussexes. With a garishly photoshopped caricature of a bloated Meghan as their Twitter avatar, they had spent years relentlessly mocking Archie and spearheading most conspiracy theories about the Duchess' dishonest way of life. For too long we've had to accept that some Z-list cable star duped the RF and world with a massive cosplay con about being a biracial princess, only to exploit and disgrace the firm with trashy bodice-ripping wokery, read one emblematic de Grenade rant. But what if she went even further and her very bumps were BS? Few took the inflammatory rhetoric seriously at first, especially from someone who openly self-identified as a partisan bigot. But slowly, methodically, de Grenade began piecing together circumstantial evidence and insider connections that raised eyebrows amongst even the sworn Meghan #AbolishTheMonarchy crowd. It started with a series of leaks from disgruntled Frogmore Cottage staff recounting strange requests made by Meghan during both pregnancies. The emails spoke of repeated orders for oversized overcoats and Miu Miu dresses meant to obscure any potential bumps, followed by oddly specific windows of time requiring complete grounds evacuations. Next, de Grenade unveiled photos and staff schedules showing frequent nighttime activity around the cottage during key pregnancy stages for both of Meghan's gestations. The snapped shots clearly captured figures entering and exiting the premises under pitch darkness on rotating shifts. In talks with these contractors, I was repeatedly assured they'd been sworn to silence while ferrying mysterious packages in/out of FC under the heaviest security possible, de Grenade breathlessly shared. What exactly was being transported into her advanced pregnancy nest in these dead-of-night relays? A creepy narrative only intensified when de Grenade incorporated flight manifests showing oddly timed cargo shipments from the U.S. to London airport corresponding to Harry's flight records to and from California around the time of both births. It appeared the Duke made repeated journeys transporting packages that his social media antagonist insisted were components for elaborate prosthetics and bump suits. According to reports that surfaced in the media around the time of the fake pregnancy scandal, there were a number of sordid and disturbing allegations made about Meghan Markle's backstage behavior and treatment of staff. While the specific claims varied in severity, they painted an overwhelmingly negative picture of the Duchess as an entitled diva with frequent outbursts and instances of bullying those around her. Some of the more explosive allegations included physical altercations with aides. Multiple former palace aides came forward anonymously to accuse Meghan of physical aggression and angry confrontations behind the scenes. One claimed the Duchess had violently shoved her after perceived tardiness in bringing a snack. Another stated Meghan threw a pile of printouts directly at her face after criticizing formatting issues. Disturbing verbal abuse. There were widespread reports of Meghan frequently dressing down staffers with horrific verbal lashings laced with profanity, insults, and threats of termination over minor mistakes or perceived offenses. A former assistant claimed the Duchess called her a disgusting whale when asking for fashion advice while pregnant. Others described being berated until reduced to tears. Ridiculous demands and tantrums. Apparently every bit the archetypal, showbiz diva, Meghan's alleged list of outrageous demands and triggered screaming fits over trivial matters grew legendary among palace staff. Stories ranged from her firing an entire kitchen team after finding a single strand of hair in her avocado toast to berating a new mom's maternity leave request as being a missed opportunity to keep hustling. Accusations of bullying. The most serious claims centered around Meghan's purported campaign of bullying, targeted harassment and unjustified firings of multiple aides and staffers who found themselves in the Duchess's crosshairs. One anchor accusation described how she allegedly manipulated events to have a senior staffer terminated after briefly falling out of favor, only to rehire her once she had regained influence. Of course, Meghan vehemently denied all allegations of mistreating staff and diva behavior behind the scenes. She claimed the stories were part of a calculated disinformation campaign to discredit her, stoked by racist members of the palace old guard who bristled at her attempts to modernize and diversify the monarchy's operations. However, the mounting pile of consistent grievances and similar stories depicting the same patterns of behavior dramatically undercut Meghan's denials and self-portrayal as a sweet-natured victim. When these allegations resurfaced amidst the even more shocking, fake pregnancy claims, they added extra credence to the narrative of the Duchess as someone capable of outrageous deceptions in fabricating their desired persona. While the various accusations were unverified and relied heavily on anonymous hearsay from staffers bound by NDAs, their sheer volume and remarkably consistent depictions of out-of-control tantrums represented a major threat to what remained of Meghan's public credibility. For those already inclined to believe the worst impulses about the former actress based on her falling star, these sordid stories became irresistible confirmation bias that something rotten lay at the core of Meghan Markle.